The incident took place in the middle of the night. No PR statement, no announcement, and no thoughtfully planned Instagram post. At a small airstrip in California, Prince Harry climbed into a private plane and took off. London is the only destination. No children, no Meghan, and no security detail following him as usual. Just a duffel bag, Harry, and what was left of his sanity. At first, palace insiders refused to confirm anything, but the chatter began right away. He has returned to the UK, he is lodging at an estate in the country. He has been phoning, and now for the topic that everyone is talking about. He wasn't fleeing this time, the royals. He was rushing to them again. Harry wanted to leave California as soon as possible after years of tell-all books, Netflix films, and interviews that portrayed his family as the bad guys. What changed then? Why would the man who destroyed all ties with the monarchy suddenly run back across the A's if his life were on the line? Tyler Perry, in 2 words. When Harry and Meghan first fled royal life, the rich mogul gave them access to his house, private jet, and whole support network. In their worst moment, Meghan referred to him as her savior, her rock, and her guardian. Everything the Sussexes constructed is being destroyed by the bomb that was just detonated by that same individual. Tyler Perry documents people in addition to helping them. All of the conversations, favors, and heartfelt phone calls were recorded, stored, and kept safe in what insiders now refer to as the vault. Furthermore, Meghan did more than simply breach Perry's trust when she made one disastrous error. She activated a legal provision that allowed him to make everything public. Now that the tapes have been released, Harry is completely losing it, and the world is in disarray. It wasn't the complete tale, though. Here are some things about Tyler Perry that most people don't know. He's not a famous person seeking controversy or attention. He is a businessman who has experienced burnout, has discovered that loyalty in Hollywood is a commercial deal, and survival is what receipts are. Perry didn't just give Harry and Meghan the keys to his $18 million Beverly Hills estate out of altruism when they arrived in 2020, desperate and homeless and in need of a place to hide from the media frenzy. He made them sign actual documents. On the surface, a residence agreement appeared to be completely typical, yet hidden deep within the one particular clause that was ignored at the time was legal terminology. In essence, it stated that the non-breaching party has the legal right to reveal the context required to preserve the reputation if either party publicly denies the other or makes an effort to sever their relationship. Interpretation, Perry could speak loudly if Meghan ignored him or pretended he didn't exist, without any legal repercussions at all, without NDAs, and without mysterious social media posts. And because Perry is Perry, he was ready for that. He kept meticulous records during the months that Harry and Meghan were in his house, not because he was planning to harm them, but rather because he knew something that they obviously didn't. Without documentation, friendship is merely exposure waiting to happen in his world. He had meeting notes, discussion recordings, drafts, planning papers they collaborated on, and even behind-the-scenes video of them getting ready for important interviews. There was no paranoia here. This served as defense. Perry made sure there was proof of everything as he watched them plot, cry, and decide what to do next. Due to the fact that after working in the entertainment business for decades, Tyler Perry has come to the conclusion that individuals will change history as soon as it suits them. And without even realizing it, Meghan gave him the nuclear option when she did just that. And everyone would be shocked by what transpired next. At first, most people didn't even notice because it began so quietly and subtly. The name Tyler Perry started to disappear from the Sussex story. He appeared in dazzling Netflix montages, was positioned as the protagonist of their escape story, and was cited in press releases as Liet's godfather one month. Silence the following month. Complete silence on the radio. Social media messages were altered, pictures were preserved, and even Liet's Uncle Tyler was discreetly removed from the Wikipedia page. It was deliberate, surgical, and utterly brutal. However, why would Meghan abruptly remove the man who actually saved their lives? Time. A huge $260 million lawsuit was filed against Tyler Perry Studios, alleging that he had created a hostile work environment, harassed staff, and encouraged intimidation. His name became a PR liability overnight. And Meghan's group decided on something. Break up relationships, safeguard the brand, and go away right away. As if Perry were some sort of scandal they had to bury, they rushed quickly to eliminate any hint of their relationship with him. It appeared to the public to be astute crisis management. Regarding Tyler Perry, it appeared to be treachery. When no one else was willing to protect them, this man placed his reputation at danger. At the time, half of Hollywood did not want to work with them, but he provided them resources, protection, privacy, and his own credibility. And they completely abandoned him the moment he encountered difficulties. However, Meghan's public relations team overlooked this, that provision in the residence agreement. The very circumstance that gave Perry the freedom to speak was set in motion when they methodically erased him and publicly denied their relationship. They believed they were preserving their reputation. In reality, they unlocked the vault. Additionally, Perry wasted no time. Everything changed when the first tape was dumped. 58 seconds. That was all it took to ruin years of meticulously crafted victimization. Before hearing the voices, people assumed the audio file was a scam since it was posted online without any background information or introduction. Unmistakably crystal clarity actual. It was Meghan who spoke first. Calm but calculating, talking strategy like a scene-setting director. "They'll say we're manufacturing grief if we use the Diana card excessively," she stated matter-of-factly. Cold tactical reasoning without emotion or hesitancy. Then, in the background, Harry's weary and dejected voice spoke with words that would come back to haunt him. "Netflix wants us to stop sobbing. This time not too much." That was it. Their public image was completely destroyed in less than a minute of talk that was disclosed. For years, Harry and Meghan had marketed to the world a tale of genuine suffering, unvarnished candor, and impromptu emotional disclosure. Every weeping magazine feature, the Netflix documentary series, and the Oprah interview. Everything was framed as their first opportunity to express their true emotions without interference from the palace. After millions of people defended them, trusted them, and engaged in online combat on their behalf, that belief vanished in 58 seconds. The internet blew up. After years of claiming that every tear was authentic, Sussex defenders abruptly stopped talking. The cautious commentators began to openly challenge everything. Even mainstream media, which usually treated them like children, ran headlines inquiring as to whether their admissions had been practiced. People were replaying Oprah interview video with the leaked audio on social media, dissecting each pause, every exhale, every well-timed tear. The contrast was devastating. What had once been perceived as courageous vulnerability now appeared to be performance art. The once powerful emotional beats felt artificial all of a sudden. The worst thing for Meghan was that Tyler Perry remained silent. No declaration, no rejection, no affirmation, only controlled, risky quiet. Because that doesn't mean that someone like Perry is finished when they stop talking. It indicates that they are only beginning. Perry wasn't finished, though. Harry would be utterly destroyed by the second tape. Exactly 1 week later, the second leak was made public, and this time Harry's voice was more prominent, crisper, and more revealing. His footsteps could be heard as he talked through the plan aloud, and you could hear him pacing in the background. He stated, "We have to steer the dock," in a distant, scientific tone akin to a producer going over video. "It's phony if we appear overly put together, yet if we lean into, then we show the garden scenes. Calm, grounded, real, nothing too emotional until the third act." He wasn't sharing his truth at the time. He was workshopping it. Meghan's voice then cut in, soft but directive, offering the solution they'd eventually use, act. She actually referred to it as a third act, as if they were planning a film rather than talking about their real lives. That one sentence destroyed what little credibility they still had because it validated what critics had long suspected. Their whole post-royal story wasn't an honest one. People instantly began rewatching the Netflix series with this new context, and everything suddenly looked different. Every private moment, every vulnerable confession, every deliberate pause, everything took on a completely different meaning. The documentary they'd marketed as raw and unfiltered now looked like precisely what it was: produced, scripted, and released strategically for maximum impact. Hearing himself on that tape, according to people close to the matter, was the tipping point for Harry, who reportedly fell apart after days of hardly sleeping, pacing through their Montecito mansion late into the night, and repeatedly playing the leaked audio as if he couldn't believe what he was. "I thought it was over. Not just the PR war, but everything." And that's when Harry made the call that surprised everyone. His phone conversations with Meghan were shorter, colder, and more strained. According to one insider, Harry broke down after the second clip was made public, telling those close to him, instead of contacting his US-based public relations team, Netflix, Spotify, or any of the media partners they had established in California, Harry made a series of discreet calls to London and his father's office. Insiders described these calls as feelers, a way of saying, "I'm not okay," without actually saying it out loud. "I must return home." Within 48 hours, he was gone. Harry was flying alone back to the nation he had spent years publicly denouncing in a private jet reserved under a shell company name, leaving from a small airport north of Los Angeles in the middle of the night when no paparazzi would be around. There was no security convoy, no help, and no meticulously planned arrival plan. Harry was staying at a private country estate connected to trusted royal allies, not Frogmore Cottage or any other publicly connected location to the family. But people talk, especially in royal circles, and the whisper began right away. The palace didn't confirm his arrival because he wasn't there officially, and this is what scared Meghan's whole operation. For the first time in years, the fugitive prince was running toward the royals, not away from them. He was returning to the family he had accused of racism and cruelty, to the institution he had labeled toxic, to the peaceful place where he could think without cameras following him everywhere. Harry publicly rejecting Meghan on a global scale would be more than just a celebrity split or a change in public relations tactics. It would be a complete and total rejection of everything they had created together, including every interview, accusation, and documentary claim. And it would mean acknowledging that perhaps the palace wasn't the bad guy after all. Harry and Meghan had been living in Tyler Perry's mansion for 3 weeks when they signed it, not another non-disclosure agreement, not a typical confidentiality agreement, but a document that would ultimately destroy their entire operation. Meghan's team was aware of this, but Perry had one more weapon, and this one was nuclear. This wasn't a couple winging it. This was a planned campaign with target dates, talking points, and a strategic repositioning plan that laid out everything, including their exit goals, PR messaging, rebranding structure, timeline for major media appearances, and the precise narrative they plan to sell to the world. Predetermined outcomes, and 2 signatures at the bottom of the last page, proving that Harry and Meghan knew exactly what they were doing from the beginning. Tyler Perry made that document available to the appropriate individuals, journalists, legal experts, royal commentators, and others, without holding a dramatic press conference or an exclusive interview. The document demonstrated beyond a reasonable doubt that the Oprah interview wasn't a spontaneous release of repressed pain. Rather, it was on the timeline, scheduled, planned, and positioned as phase 1 of their rebrand. They knew exactly what they were looking at, and once they saw it, there was no turning back. The Netflix deal wasn't. The backlash was immediate and ruthless, and they were finally able to share their story. It was phase 2, already negotiated and outlined before they had even left Perry's property, and every single move they had made to appear natural and genuine was there in black and white, carefully planned and executed. Royal watchers who had remained impartial finally took sides. And it wasn't the Sussex side because this wasn't about whether Harry and Meghan had valid complaints with the palace. Rather, it was about the fact that they had sold millions of people a story of honest truth-telling while operating. Brand experts called it the death of authenticity, and brand experts called it a total collapse of public trust. The world is now waiting to see if Harry will make the final decision. And Tyler Perry, the man they attempted to remove from their story, is actually the architect who helped them construct it. Where does this leave everyone now? Tyler Perry is doing well, and the lawsuit that Meghan's team used as a reason to distance themselves is quietly settling. And Perry's reputation is actually stronger than it was before because he is now perceived as someone who protects himself and doesn't allow anyone to change his story. He isn't doing interviews about the drama in Sussex, writing tell-all books, or going on talk shows to disparage them. Instead, he is simply existing, powerful and unconcerned. But everyone knows he still has more in the vault. Meghan, on the other hand, is witnessing the real-time collapse of her empire as more recordings, documents, and proof of how meticulously planned their entire post-royal journey was. Her lifestyle brand launch, which was supposed to be her big reinvention, failed spectacularly, turning comment sections into battlegrounds. And magazines that once provided her with gentle, flattering coverage are abruptly ceasing to exist. The whole machine she built on the basis of genuine storytelling is crumbling now that people realize it was performance all along. On her pitches, brand partnerships are subtly ending. According to sources, Harry has changed. He is now quieter, more aloof, and almost introspective in a way he hasn't been in years. His sudden flight to the UK was not a sign of panic, but rather of clarity, a realization that the fairy tale he had been living was actually just another script and that the cameras had been rolling the entire time. The man who left everything for love is beginning to look like someone who is realizing he was never truly free and was only being managed by a different institution. In the end, it was not royalty, British tabloids, palace insiders, or even public opinion that destroyed their story. Rather, it was receipts, documentation, and one man they attempted to erase. They believed they had outwitted the palace, outmaneuvered the institution, and fled into a new life of freedom and authenticity, who preserved every single document and who waited for the perfect opportunity to reveal the truth to the public. Now everyone is asking the same question. Will Harry return permanently? Share your ideas in the comments section below. Click subscribe. For further information on this absolute, I'll see you in the next one, Pandemonium.